no farmers, no food. That's what I would say. That's what the city folk need to know.
The legislation and these changes that are coming at farmers, some people would believe that that's coming from the Labor government, but yeah, it doesn't take a hell of a lot to figure out that there's someone bigger behind this. This is happening on a global scale.
During the last decade, mental health is becoming a huge issue within the rural sector. It has always been an issue because farmers are really prone to isolating themselves.
Try to get the government to see some sense on how things should be, and we might still have a farm for the next generation to carry on doing what we've been doing for the last 4 generations.
Hey guys, I'm Farmer James, previously known as James Matheson. Farm 700 cows at Waipahi, which is in Southland.
G'day, my name's Logan Evans. Me and my family farm here 20 k's west of Gore in the Otameta Valley. We're farming about 24,000 stock units of sheep and beef. So yeah, we're producing lamb and beef for the world, and also wool to keep you warm at night.
So my name's Herrick. I share milk 1,000 cows in northern Southland. I'm involved with Federated Farmers, also involved with Craig Wiggins with Whatever with Wiggy on his Talk to a Lean on the Gate, Talk to a Mate campaign, and talking about mental health issues within the rural sector.
G'day, my name's James Dillon. I farm a family farm at Ardlassa in northern Southland. We're mainly cereal cropping and a few sheep.
We've obviously decided that we're not happy for our children to be going with the main education system at the moment, so we're homeschooling our kids. That's been a massive change. But even though the kids are at home, I'm obviously fairly active in standing up against this government, and you know, so they'd really love for this government to listen to the people of New Zealand, so that they can have their father back. And you know, my wife, she's been out there with us today weighing cattle. You know, she's doing a hell of a lot, you know, so that I can do what I do. And I suppose it's what they say. I've heard it many times. Behind every good man, there's a hell of a lot better woman, and this is definitely the case.
So yes, I'm really concerned about the legislations all coming at us around food supply and haltering the amount of production. So there's a lot of things, in reading between the lines, you know you're not going to be able to maintain current food production under the new legislation and regulations coming at us. There is going to be production losses and so forth. So yes, I'm extremely concerned because there's a lot of money, time invested in our industry, and it's only going to fall over if we don't keep the current systems pretty much running where they are.
Some people would believe that that's coming from the Labor government, but yeah, it doesn't take a hell of a lot to figure out that there's someone bigger behind this. This is happening on a global scale. We can see the Dutch farmers, what they're up to now. This is exactly the same thing coming at them. They're just 6 months or 12 months further down the track, and I suppose my suggestion to people would be that we know that we are the frogs in the pot. The water's simmering, and to me, I'm not happy to sit there and wait till we boil. I think New Zealand needs to stand up against this stuff now, and yeah, there's a lot of people, and probably half of our groundswell supporters, or probably 80% of them, believe that the National Act government, you know, if they get in, will fix this. That's not my personal view. I don't believe that's going to be the case, and we need, yeah, massive fundamental change in this country before it's going to come in.
There's nothing that's not affecting at the moment. There's supply chain issues with getting fertiliser, fuel shortages, just anything you need for breakdowns. Yeah, it's not really just farming, it's right across the board of any business in the country really. So yeah, we need all those tools in the toolbox to be able to farm effectively and efficiently and provide the food that we do. So yeah, without it we're pretty much hamstrung, and yeah, who knows where we'll go from there.
I don't think it's necessarily one piece of legislation. I think it's the constant pressure that they're applying. Like it just feels like there's like this weight and it's just squishing down on us, and we don't even really know what's out, because we're trying to figure out what we're trying to fix the last problem, and then there's another one, and then we don't even really know what to do, because there's that many things they're saying we're stuffing up.
We've got, you know, a few groups within New Zealand suggesting that fertiliser should be taxed, and fertiliser is causing cancer, and this is what they do. They chuck a narrative out there, they talk about it for a while just to soften people up and get the public thinking that it could be the right thing to do. Then I have no doubt that in 3 or 4 months this government will implement some sort of legislation around taxing fertiliser. They're also dealing with reduction of livestock numbers. We know that exactly the same thing's happening here in New Zealand. They're just trying to figure out the best way to do it. It's all blamed on climate change, and anyone that knows the science around that knows that there are some really big issues with the science they are trying to use. It's not truthful.
They're good to go.
A few months ago we started a bit of a movement with a few lads, we call it the lads chat, and it was just a barbecue, a few mates, a couple of beers, a couple of sausages, and at the end of it we sort of didn't really know where we were going to go from here, so I just grabbed my phone out and said, I reckon we just video how we feel, and everyone's got 30 seconds to tell the public in New Zealand what you feel, and that video's got 90,000 views on Facebook and a couple 100,000 on Twitter. And people were really responded well to that, and then in that video I sort of said that I'm going to go on tour and sort of spread the word, and I've just been, as a farmer, I've been pretty busy.
I believe the government has done nothing to protect mental health. I think they're contributing to a lot of the issues around it. They're not putting enough mechanisms, time and effort into place to put those mechanisms in place. We are losing counsellors, mental health counsellors hand over fist. We're losing professional health sector representatives hand over fist, and they're not putting more systems in place in our universities and tertiary education facilities to be able to counteract the losses.
No, that would be the very short answer. Yeah, they're not listening at all. Or they may claim that they're listening, but yeah, I for one do not feel heard at all by this government.
That this constant regulation and constant legislation coming at us with all the rule changes and implementations is going to contribute to more and more suicides, and a lot of people are afraid to talk about suicide, but at the end of the day, unless they're talking about it, it's not going to get fixed.
I don't think people farm animals if they don't like animals, so you sort of got to be a pretty caring person to have animals for a start. It's a balance. Life is a balance, so it's sort of like got to be what's in the best interest of the animal, what's actually makes sense. It's like you can't treat all the livestock, 1,000 livestock on your farm like you would your pet dog, but you try your best to make it as close to that as you can. But yeah, I guess I care for animals. I think most farmers do. You wouldn't do it if you don't. But I just don't think people quite understand what it's all about, to be honest.
As it's been said time and time again, we're among the best, if not the best in the world of turning our grass and our pastures and our crops into meat. And yeah, until someone comes along with a better idea, yeah, we might be the best at doing it, but we're not going to stop at that. We're going to strive for greater excellence in that department. There's some pretty great minds in agriculture in this country, and people just want to do better. That's what we're trying to do at home. We're looking at better ways to do things, better efficiencies, a lighter footprint on the environment. It's just part of DNA of agriculture, really.
So grazing livestock and producing protein for the world on this country is the most efficient way to produce that grass-fed protein that you can in the world. And yeah, the grasslands that these animals are grazing on need animals to sustain it, and it's part of the system. And I suppose that's the important thing that we need people to understand. This is the most efficient way of producing protein and feeding people off that land. And some people would suggest that they don't like the idea that an animal has to die so they can eat. But that is nature. That's the way life works. A lion has to eat an antelope to survive, and that's the way we've got here. That's what humans do.
Yeah. Lean on a gate, talk to a mate.
Yeah,
you know, and that's where that comes from. And it's a lot less happening these days because communities are being destroyed by the forestry shit.
Yeah, the issue is what happens from here, and I suppose, in my opinion, they're aiming at their big reset. They're going to pump inflation as hard as they can, and it's going to be when they pull the rug that everyone's going to, the pain's going to come in.
There's a lot of people got a fair bit to say about all this, and no one's being heard. And that's not what a democracy is about. It's about listening to the people.
Don't be afraid to stand up. So I believe everybody in New Zealand can have an impact by standing up and getting the confidence to voice your opinion. Support one another because more voices are better than one, and it's basically power of the people. If you don't believe in what's going on and you believe that there are bad things coming, don't be afraid to stand up and support one another. Put your head above the cloud. It's not going to get shot off. You will find people that think the same.
No farmers, no food. That's what I would say. That's what the city folk need to know. It might sound all well and good putting these stock inside and under these big shelters and that and roofs and all that, but overseas the same people are saying to put them back outside. So you got to draw your line somewhere, and just, I guess we've got to realise that farmers aren't the enemy. We're all in this together, and we've got to support one another. But I'll tell you what, if we've got no farmers, we've got no New Zealand.